So you're using Logic and you're programming a lot of drums. Pretty sure you hate it, right? I mean, other DAWs like Reaper, Cubase, Studio One, they all have something called a drum editing mode, where you don't have to guess all the notes around the piano roll and see thousands of notes you don't know what they're going to trigger. Keep watching this video. I have 2 tips for you, 2 tricks that will make your life super easy when it comes to programming drums in Logic, and pretty similar to the drum editing modes in other DAWs. Let's dive into it. So you're probably used to doing some bullshit like this when you're programming your drums or your super complex drum fills. Where's the kick in this new where's the fucking crash? That's fucking bullshit, right? What if I told you can do it like this? That's the kick, snare, hi-hat, hi-hat, crash. Super nice, right? Okay, so I want to see all notes available. Ooh, nice. Cross stick. Nice. Rectom. Ooh. High tight edge. Ooh. Open 3. Ooh. Right bell. Ooh. China 1. And they're all ordered so that there are no dead notes in between them. And they all make kind of sense because they go from feet to top. Kick, snare, hi-hat. So that's the new MidiRemap mapping standard now available at MidiRemap, which takes the most important drum elements across all the libraries and puts them into an order where there are no gaps in between the notes and where they make sense, meaning they go from low kick to snare to toms to high cymbals. You get the idea? Think from bottom to top. Kick is on the bottom, cymbals are on top. I don't have gaps in between them. I can simply program anything and all the dead notes. I don't give a fuck about F#8. Is there a sample map to G-1? I don't fucking care. I'm gonna use the MidiRemap standard for all my drum programming. I'm gonna get used to it. I see all the notes in an ascending order without gaps, and that's it. So, where's the magic? Magic is, you go to MidiRemap.com, click on drum maps, and it doesn't matter which one you choose, it's all the same template at the moment. Simply download our Logic piano roll template. Open it in Logic. You can copy it anywhere on your hard drive and use it for all your new songs, or copy the content to existing projects. Then in the MidiRemap plugin, which is placed on the second track, simply choose MidiRemap standard as your source, and then the library you want to use. For example, let's say I want to use the fresh and new P5 Matt Halpern kit from Get Good Drums. I'm gonna add this library to the track. I can simply program my drums on the first track in the template, which says drum map program here and drum program add your library here, right? You can rename those, it doesn't matter. But important part is you need to program your drums on the first track. However you're gonna do it, and if you open it up, you can see that all the notes on the piano roll are named according to the MidiRemap standard. So let's say I wanna program a quick and simple beat. Pretty simple, right? Pretty quick, pretty straightforward. I didn't have to guess any of the notes. I knew exactly what I wanted to do in my head, and I simply had to do it on a piano roll without guessing where the fuck is the tight tip on the hi-hat, right? You've been there, I know it. If you're using Logic and programming drums, you have been there. I'm pretty sure I've been using Logic a long time programming drums, and I fucking hated it. So now, anytime you want to change your drum library and use an existing beat, you simply change your target inside MidiRemap. For example, let's use the Mixwave Luke Holland library. Change your library inside Contact. Same beat, still working. Awesome, right? Completely different mapping. Doesn't matter. All your notes are the same. You can even collapse this in Logic if you say that's all the notes I'm going to use in the project. If you have a long MIDI file, simply collapse it. You only see the notes you really used, and that makes editing later on even easier than it already is right now. If you're using a library which doesn't have a floor tom 2, for example, MidiRemap is smart enough to use a fallback. For example, in this case, it's going to play the floor tom 1 or the rec tom 3, whatever. Another scenario is if you're changing libraries and you used a library which has a full choke sample and now using one which has a simple sample and just a mute note to manually stop the symbol. You might also have to manually adjust those if you're changing between libraries a lot. Okay, second approach, using the patterns from MidiRemap. This is a completely different approach, doesn't have anything to do with template I just showed you. Choose the library you want to use and download the logic pattern file for the step sequencer. Take the pattern file you downloaded and you simply have to copy this file to a logic settings folder. You find the instruction where to find that folder in the text file. You can start a fresh project, add your library of choice and choose the P5 library again. And then, instead of creating a default MIDI region, right-click and create a pattern region. Then you can load the map you just downloaded. And as you can see, you see all the notes perfectly named and even with icons. And let's just recreate the beat we just did. Just the velocity, that's pretty awesome too. Right, the first one was a crash, right? And it's gonna loop. Right, and you can simply copy it or alias it or whatever. And if you say, okay, I want to do more complex stuff or whatever, you can always convert your existing pattern region. If you don't want to do it for all the song, simply convert it to a MIDI region and you're back to your normal shitty drum programming in Logic. Have fun and thanks for watching this video.